Hello everyone, welcome to POKOPIA. In this video, I'm going to show you a tutorial on how to make the room lighting up effect, as well as the waterfall turning off for the mural. For the sake of this video, I will be using the mural in with the waistline because it's where the mural originally is, but you can always relocate it anywhere and go from there. First thing first, we're going to start off by removing the scaffoldings in a room. Now we're going to do the waterfall part first. We're gonna do that by cleaning up some space above the mural. You wanna start with the row 1 tile right in front of the mural and make your way in from there. Your waterfall is gonna be coming down from above, and this row that we're breaking is gonna be where it be coming out of. After that, you're gonna make your way in and clear up some space to set up the waterfall. I'm gonna use Graveler to speed up the process. When you're done, you should have enough space behind and be able to see the room below from the gap. This is basically how much I cleaned up. Not too much, not too little, just enough to fit the waterfall and the sensor contraption. I'm gonna start off by putting down a row of glass panels, 2 tiles behind the mural. Next up, we're gonna make the gate to turn the waterfall on and off. I chose the large wooden doors to make the gate because they can be linked together to make a double door, so they'll use less sensors. There isn't enough space for 2 large doors at the end there, so I'm gonna use 1 large door and 1 small window hatch. You can see the sensor can activate both of them at the same time. However, because the sensor would go on top of the small window, so I want it to be on the inside, so its sensor would be closer to the other doors. You can see this time the sensor actually activates the small window, the single door, and the double door all at the same time. For the last double door, just simply put the sensor on the floor in front of it and make sure all sensors are facing the inside of the room and not the opposite way towards the doors. Otherwise, they're not gonna work. Now we're gonna need something that activates all of them at the same time. I'm gonna start by putting a wooden gate right above the glass in front of this sensor. And then put another sensor right under it, but 1 tile to the right. And then we place 2 large wooden doors to make a double door right in front of it, and that should connect all of them. And that's pretty much it for the waterfall gate, and we're just missing the waterfall. Before doing the water, you want to head back to the mirror and break the row of blocks in front of it to catch the water so it wouldn't make a mess. It should look like this when you're done. For the waterfall, simply drink fresh water and start spitting it out. You don't have to do it on every single tile, but I'm just gonna do it anyway just in case. When finished, just activate the gate using the double door and see your result. And there you go. You finished the first half of the project, your functional waterfall. Now let's get to the second half, lighting up the room. This is what we want it to look like at the end. A lot of greens and lighting. We're gonna start with burying the palm trees in the ground so they look like fern. To do that, you're gonna make a hole by breaking 2 blocks below and put the palm tree inside the hole. That way only the leaves are visible and not the stump. You can also rotate the trees however you want so they don't look too repetitive. For this one, I only dig up by 1 block so it appears higher than the other one to add some volume. Then I place another one lower next to it to cover up the stump. We'll just keep doing the same thing for the rest of the room. Here's what mine turns out. Now we're gonna move on to our next step, using square plants to make leafy blocks. To do so, simply break a block on the floor and bury your square plants. You're gonna need a lot of them, so make sure you have enough Poke metals to 3D print. Just like the palm trees, we're gonna bury these square plants randomly over the floor so it's more natural. Don't forget the gap under the mirror. You wanna fill the entire thing up with square plants. Now we're done with the tree and grass part. And of course, you're welcome to add any other elements you want to make it look better, like grass, vines, flowers, or rocks. But essentially all you need is the palm trees and the square plants. Now we're moving on to the next step, lighting. To create the illuminating effect, you're gonna need a bunch of surface lights. After you're done crafting the lights, ask Miyaguru to paint them yellow. The reason why you need yellow painted light and not the regular one is because the yellow light glows brighter than the regular one. You can see how the regular light barely shines compared to the yellow painted one. Next up, you're gonna need a mini generator and some power transmitters to power up the lights. It doesn't matter which transmitter you're using, but for testing I will use the switch transmitter just so I can turn them on and off to compare. I will later replace those with regular transmitters. To start off, we put one transmitter on each side of the room, then place the mini generator on top of one of the transmitters. Then proceed to lay out all the lights on top of the square plants and under the leaves. Also, don't forget the lines of plants over here. For these, simply put a transmitter at the center and place the lights on top of the plants. Continue doing that for all the plants and trees in the room. Okay, we're all finished with the lighting. Now I'm gonna turn them off and back on to see how good they look. Looking good, right? Keep in mind these are just temporary switches. Our real switch is the water wheel that we're gonna be making next. Now that we're finished with the lighting, let's go ahead and hide these transmitters underground. I will also change them from being transmitter switch to regular transmitter. You also want to hide them 2 blocks below ground level so that you can cover them up with a different block on top. I'll put this generator here for now. You can see which one isn't connected by holding a transmitter and walk around. If you see a line, that means the light isn't connected and you need to fix your transmitter position or place another one. I'll reposition this one to see if it helps. It worked. You can see there's no more line. Now we're all set. Let's move on to the next step, which is the water wheel. A little explanation about the water wheel and why we need it for this setup is that the water wheel generates electricity when there's running water. However, without water, the water wheel will stop functioning and any devices powered by it will turn off. Those devices will turn back on once the wheel is running again, as you can see in the video. Next up, we're going to start making the real switch that connects to the water wheel. Then I'm going to break a block at the center of the room and put a transmitter switch in it. Remember, it has to be a switch, not the regular power transmitter kind. Next, I'm going to put a pedestal on top of the switch just to indicate that this is something important. And then I put a decorative Pokeball on top of it just to complete the look. You can see how I can still activate the switch even though it is in the ground. You can see from this angle that the switch looks pretty out of place. I'm gonna go ahead and fix that by using these gold wool blocks. Now it blends much better with the surroundings. Next up is the water wheel. To make room for the water wheel, you start digging a few blocks right below the switch at the center. I say about 6-7 blocks deep. Then we clear up some space to place the wheel. Once finished, you should end up with a room about this big and 3 blocks tall. Next, you're gonna go ahead and put out the water wheel kit. It doesn't matter where you put it as long as it's right below the transmitters. Now we start building it. It should take about 15 minutes to finish. Once your wheel is done, let's put some blocks around it to hold the water. You want to leave at least 2 blocks empty for the water source and the door. Now go ahead and put the door right next to the wheel. Now put the water on the other side behind the wheel. Now we open the door to let the water out. Next we go up and reconnect the regular transmitters to the wheel. First I'm gonna go ahead and remove this switch because I don't want it to connect to the other transmitters or the wheel. This switch would be the last thing we put down. Then we put this generator away because we no longer need it. Then we go to the transmitter closer to the wheel. Simply pick it up and put it back. Then you can see all the lights are working again. If for some reason you put the transmitter back and the light isn't on, that means your water wheel is too far. In that case, just put another transmitter in between and connect them. No big deal. Once you have confirmed all the lighting is working properly, we're gonna start putting down our switch. You cannot directly put the switch down like usual. It's gonna connect to the other transmitters that way, and we don't want that. To avoid that, we're gonna start by putting down a transmitter next to the spot where the switch goes. And then you put down the switch. After that, you break the initial transmitter to isolate the switch from the others. See how the light on the switch is now off? It means the switch is now disconnected and receives no power from the water wheel. Now we put the generator right beneath the switch to power it. We are now finished with our electricity. Let's go ahead and put our decorations back on. Next up, we're gonna head down to the water wheel and place a laser sensor next to the door. This sensor will now control the door that controls the water to activate the wheel. Then you're gonna go ahead and put that a fan in front of the sensor. and then turn it on and leave it like that. And make sure it is connected to the switch and not the other transmitters, because you need to be able to use the switch to control it. You can see that the switch now controls the running fan and turns the water wheel on and off, as well as the lights in the room. We're almost done. The last and only thing to do now is hook it up to the waterfall so they activate together at the same time. I went back to the waterfall room and started digging down. I finally reached the room with the water wheel. I'm gonna fix it real quick. Now I'm gonna connect the fan to the waterfall using sensors. Next, I put on a wooden gate behind that sensor, then followed by another sensor. Then I follow up with a large wooden door. For this part, you don't have to do exactly as I do. You can use anything you want as long as it works in the end. I'm gonna keep doing that until I reach the end of the path. Once I've reached the back of the path, it is now time for me to go upwards. For this part, I'm gonna be using the iron doors because they're tall. Then I'm putting another iron door on top and another sensor below it facing the previous door. Keep doing the same thing until you reach the top. You can see we now finally reached the top, which is the waterfall room. All that left to do is hook this double door that controls the waterfall to the iron door. For my case, I'm gonna put the sensor below the wooden doors facing towards the iron door. And that should put everything together. We also want the waterfall to be on while the lights in the room are off, so I'm gonna go ahead and fix that. Now let's double check to see if it's working properly. There you go. It's working perfectly fine. Instead of the pedestal, if you have the DLC and access to the wireless transmitter post switch, you can put a crystal ball on top of it and it'll turn into a magical staff. We still have some finishing up to do, so let's get it over with so we can celebrate. I'm gonna paint these wooden planks aquamarine color and use them to cover up the gap above the mural. You can see how there's still a visible gap after we're done putting up the planks. I'll fix that by putting stone steps on top of those planks. There you go, no more gaps. Finally, we just cover up all the holes in the room and we're all set. Let's take a look at our final result. Congratulations! Now you know how to turn your mural from this to this. And of course, what I'm showing you in this video is just the basic things you need to make this work. For your game, you can always decorate it however you want to make it look nicer. This is what I have for my Cloud Island. Same mechanics, just different decorations. I used a bunch of corals from the Bubbly Basin DLC and added more lighting and different plants. And instead of the pedestal switch from the tutorial, I used the wireless transmitter post with the crystal ball on top. I also put some bubble machines behind the walls for more effects. You can take a look for yourself by visiting my island virtually through the address on the screen. The room with the mural is located in this cave on the right side of the island. Just go behind the lava over here and you get to it. If you're curious about how I make these torches lit up, here's a quick look at the setup. I hope you enjoyed this video and find this tutorial helpful. If you have any questions, just leave it in a comment and I'll try my best to answer. Anyway, thank you for watching. Until next time.